Welcome back to our Star Trek A Day challenge. Today we are on episode 27, The Alternative Factor. So we're getting near the end of season 1, and we're gonna begin right now. Wait, hold on. There you go.
It was right now. You lied, but then you didn't.
Yeah. So the Alternative Factor, as I said, was 27th episode.
Yeah.
It was actually the 20th episode in production order.
Okay.
So it was shot right after Arena with the Gorn.
Okay. But explains why I wouldn't have followed the Gorn episode, I think.
Yeah.
Seems dark on the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
a little bit.
I enjoyed the down shot they had going on.
Mm-hmm.
Down.
That was one of the episodes where they refer to Eddie Paskey's character as Mr. Leslie.
Ooh. Is that like the first time we've ever seen him, like at the helm? Like a red at helm?
I don't know. We don't know. He did get to speak in response, which Bill Blackburn never really did.
Oh, I know.
It's crazy.
I want facts, not poetry. And he's like, I am being serious.
Yeah.
We didn't exist for 2 blinks.
Yeah.
I mean, of all people to be like, I want facts, not poetry, like he's really saying that with Spock.
I love that line, though.
Yeah. I want facts, not poetry, but...
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the reality of the situation is so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And bizarre.
Like,
and
how do you describe it?
Dear God, he's wearing possibly the worst sewn tunic of the bunch.
With all the bunching around
the collar is a wreck.
A life object.
The series of words that Spock has been saying are pretty amazing.
Yeah,
like,
he's having to deliver a lot of technobabble.
Mm-hmm. Almost to the second. Well,
I mean, all of reality just blinked out.
He follows it up with very possible.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, I don't freaking know, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? We just winked out of existence twice for a split second.
It's now just a dude, so...
But now there's a life form where there wasn't a life form on an area I just surveyed.
Right. He was just born.
So, yeah, we're in some deep shit right now.
It's crazy. Crazy stuff.
I mean, what do you think is good? We don't know.
Yeah.
I still think it's a little weird how inconsistently we keep having people in different division colors at helm or navigation.
Yeah.
It's like overall, I want to say it's been like 90%, and they make sure they've got 2 golds there. And then for like literally no reason, they'll throw in a blue like last time, and throw in a red this time. And it's one thing if it's an emergency situation, you see someone jump in. Mm-hmm. But when you're starting your story, and they're just, that was their duty for the day. It was like, that's not, no.
Yeah. Now, I think one reason that Eddie Paskey was in so many episodes is that he also worked as Shatner's stand-in.
So to always be around. Hello, Vasquez Rocks again?
Yep, we're back at Vasquez Rocks. So they shot 2 episodes in a row.
Back to back.
Yeah, back to back at Vasquez Rocks.
Making use of some of the lesser iconic parts of Vasquez here.
Yeah. Still some great rock formations and shapes and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, that's why it's such a beautiful area to film, and it's been used so many times, but it's like, outside of the amazing jutting rocks, you've got this great rough terrain going on.
Yeah. A lot of red shirts.
A lot of reds. That can't be good.
Last time we had a lot of red shirts was Devil in the Dark, and we only lost like one.
You
So
only lost one. I'm gonna point over here.
oh,
It's like the back end of the
Yeah,
rock
it
formation.
really is.
But see, this is the setup I expect. Well, I mean, you shouldn't have your captain and first officer go down, but in general, you've got two officers, and then you've got like
Spock's
your
tunic is looking extra short.
and then you've got your
Like Spock is
just
legit almost wearing a
security
crop
team.
top this
Mhm.
episode. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah.
have two
you should,
top officers,
yeah, you should have 2 to 4 security team, and then some other officers.
Yeah,
Okay. He's so excited.
he is excited.
This is amazing theater acting right here, man. Oh my god. Oh!
Oh,
That's not good.
it's almost as amazing as his facial hair.
God. It's a wreck. It's kind of a wreck. Oh, love her. I swore I saw her in yellow. Maybe I'm just going
Her?
crazy. Yeah.
That's Lieutenant Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Full crystal power.
Woo!
Now, the character we saw, Lazarus,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
he's played by an actor named Robert Brown.
Mm-hmm.
It was originally cast as John Drew Barrymore, who is Drew Barrymore's father.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he didn't like the rewrites to the script or something.
So you actually was cast.
He was actually cast.
And then he was
was
like, screw
actually
this.
in at wardrobe, getting fitted and everything like that.
Wow, that's pretty far into the process.
First day of shooting, he does not show up.
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah.
It's kind of being a dick.
Yeah. So it was massively unprofessional.
Yes.
And, you know, he did get like a...
Fine or whatever.
Yeah, he did get sanctioned by the Actors Guild. But basically, they were desperate and they called up a buddy. Who
So
was
are you
Robert
saying that
Brown.
you're saying that's the reason why that guy's acting is so terrible?
I don't know.
Because that guy's acting is legit terrible.
I don't know if he's a bad actor or not. But I'm saying they called him at the last minute.
And I was waiting for you to tell me if this guy was someone like known at the time or not before I could safely say that. But I need your help. And I was like, that was like high school acting at its finest. It's glorious, but painful. I mean, props to anyone who can like show up like at the drop of the hat, but
Yeah.
probably the guys who are showing up at the drop of a hat might not be the, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Crew the crop
He was
there.
acting the role like less than 24 hours after getting the role.
Mhm.
You know? So, A, they really had no time to like audition people.
No.
And B, he had like no time to prepare. So, it's kind of a tough job. Tough situation.
Do you think that is why this episode suffers? It's not considered a very good episode. Last time I checked.
Well,
Or just story.
I kind of wonder if the fact that the script didn't come out that great is the reason that Barrymore left.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Aww. He doesn't even say like yes or no. He's like,
Yeah.
so he asked for help, is getting
Mhm.
none.
Right.
And because they have no idea what this thing is,
Mhm.
whatever's happening,
Yeah.
they're like, well, you're basically the guinea pig. Have fun.
Mhm,
Bye.
you're the guinea pig. You're not bait, you're guinea pig.
Yeah, I feel like this episode is lit very dark on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
God, that beard.
I know.
It's not even like even. Like it's like really sparse on one side.
It's not even from scene to scene.
And I feel like there's no actual excuse for that. It's not like the wardrobe or the makeup department doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah. Although the
Kirk is like, I don't believe shit you're saying. I just
like,
don't.
No.
I don't.
It's like, what the fuck does that have to do with the universe blinking out?
Yeah. I feel like this guy should be in medbay, sickbay, you know?
Yeah.
And McCoy should be, like, watching him, because this dude should be under observation. I mean, he just, like, fainted and fell off a rock.
Right.
And is obviously a little mentally weird. I think it's
Right.
massively bizarre. It makes no sense that they would have him in the captain's quarters. Like, it's just, yeah.
Possibly with those arm straps to keep him down.
Yeah. I just feel like story-wise, like, this makes no sense. And it just seems like bad writing that you would have him here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure from a production standpoint why they would feel that would be better than having him in sickbay. Now, apparently, the facial hair, which is much thicker here,
Yeah, it got better.
it
magically got better.
Yeah, apparently the facial hair was like a last-minute addition, also.
Oh, you can tell. No, I want to use that on somebody next time.
I've simply made the logical deduction that you're full of crap. Also, some inexplicable nebula showing up.
I know, like, over them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're a way to imply that just some crazy shit is happening.
Yeah.
I mean, given some of what I consider, like, amazing graphics and way to illustrate story points and stuff, like, that we have seen for 26 episodes at this point, like, this one just reads as they didn't know what they were doing, or they had worked this idea to death, to the point where they had lost sight of what was good or bad at some point.
Oh, I could totally see that, because...
and they just were like, well, we gotta make it. We gotta keep going.
Yeah.
And they just, like, literally trudged through it. Begrudgingly so.
Yeah. It's like, at this point, we've spent, like, 100...
How long have I watched these two in negative whatever effect?
Yeah.
Keep going. Like, this has already gone on for far too long. Him fighting with another whatever. And then the spinning newspaper effect. Like, that's the spinning newspaper effect.
I know.
Why are you using that?
The spinning newspaper.
Dear God. Even Shatner's not into it. But you can tell Shatner's not even into it. Like, he's like, I don't even know.
I mean, from a story standpoint, like, what's happening is a very abstract thing, you know? This whole universes and everything like this.
And they have no idea how to...
So, yeah, how to depict that, like, on a budget has to be kind of a challenge from a visual effects standpoint. I feel like...
He got crazy.
I feel like one of your indicators that someone might be a bad guy is their frenzied repetition.
Your frenzied chanting.
Kill.
Yeah.
Also a good indicator.
He might be a little unbalanced.
Repeating the word
good.
stab.
At least he's finally in sick bay.
Yeah.
That took long enough.
Although I still feel like those
Sparkly
arm straps,
bandage!
those arm straps might be called for here.
Spock would be, like, irritated at this point. Because there is just stuff he cannot explain. And as a scientist, I mean, it's all about getting into the information, so... It's just like, I have no idea what's going on.
He could be just really fascinated with it, though.
Mm-hmm. We don't see them because we're too busy being apparently blown around by wind.
Yeah. I was just there.
I bandaged. It's like, well, I gotta set it up.
I love that. What?
His face is
Kirk
like...
is very put off by
it's like,
that.
I don't like any of this.
Yeah.
Don't want to be on shift anymore. That's what this is.
They're playing a little
Got some all blues and yellows
tic-tac-toe there.
But they're using like actual checkers pieces there.
Yeah, that's Lieutenant Masters, but she doesn't have rank braids.
Yeah. Love her though.
Yeah.
What was that girl even looking at? Was there like some view screen I don't know is up on the right corner?
There could be.
Because her angle is just like up and away. Also, is it like impossible for them to get him a change of clothes? Because they have no problem throwing Starfleet uniforms
onto just anybody.
or some, sickbay clothing onto whoever they end up finding. And this dude has to go around in those glitter rags.
Right. But he came out of it facing the opposite direction.
And with his bandage on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's a simple but useful device, same way they had it obviously when you're working with like evil within, enemy within Kirk,
Right.
where it's like scratches, no scratch, and so it's bandage, no bandage.
Right.
Now to help you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are like, something is definitely wrong, dude. And it's like, Bones does not joke about medical stuff. I mean, come on. It just does not. He would not screw around with that.
He, pretty sure one of the first things that they teach you in space medical school is to identify if someone was wearing a bandage on their face.
I know. Like, this is like grossly out of character, I think. And again, this seems like bad writing. To be like, really? Kurt doesn't believe him?
Yeah. Especially after all the crazy stuff that's happened in their adventures.
I'm just saying, like, I bandaged him, he was fine. I came back, he didn't have anything wrong with him.
Right. What?
We've got things that are like there and not there and there and not there and...
Yeah.
Like, is Kirk really gonna be this, like, obtuse about that really bizarre shit's happening?
A rip in the universe.
Someone broke the universe.
Yeah. Seems pretty serious.
A little bit. I just love how Spock prefaces what he says. Be like, hey, it could be described, though completely wrong.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't. As a rip in the universe. His beard went back to really shitty.
I know.
Is that also supposed to be an indication or no?
It is not. It is an indication that the makeup team for when they're working on set is different from the makeup team they have when they go on location.
Oh my god, really?
Yes.
Jesus. Because that is the wispiest little...
Yeah.
And I kind of like that, just a little wisp of
Mm-hmm.
it, because it looks a little bit more realistic. But he had a freaking forest on his face by comparison when they were basically on location at Vasquez Rocks. Like, it was thick.
Right.
Don't threaten me as I threaten you, apparently, by grabbing your shirt. like what the... Also, why is this guy like a loud free run?
Maybe you should follow him.
I like that there's this little unspoken, like, bitch, you better follow him.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't even need to give this as an order. I'm gonna look at you.
Right.
As we both saw the crazy dude that just left and go follow him now. But seriously, I don't understand why there isn't a red shirt trailing him constantly. Also, why the dude isn't in med bay at all times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
He's not...
be tied down in a sick bay bed.
He's not a guest the way, like, when they had Lenore and stuff, like, as guests, you know, because they're not visible threats. They're friendlies at the moment. And this is, like, we don't know this guy.
This is...
Crazy shit's happening in the galaxy. Tied with him.
This is a random madman.
Yeah, like he's shown many symptoms of being mad as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
He's chasing somebody. He is highly agitated at all times. He's running around like...
he wears shorts over pants. I mean,
long
come on.
Long sleeve shirts and the short sleeve shirts and the long sleeve shirts. And he's just a mess. He's just a legit mess. And what is going on?
Now you got Lieutenant Masters here. Lieutenant, but she's not wearing the braids of a lieutenant. No. She's working in engineering.
So she should be in red.
Right, exactly.
Because now he's taking shift, and that is his job.
Yeah. And the reason for it is because they originally cast her as as a chemist.
Okay.
But then they decided to change it to engineering. I don't know, maybe because they already have an engineering set?
Yeah. I love it, though, because this is the first time we're seeing another...
another African-American
I was like, is it better to say... I don't know what's the right term anymore half the time. Black girl! But yes, another... but it's the first time we're seeing like another African-American prominently. I mean, heck. She's... The amount of lines she's had here is almost adding up to all little bits of lines out of Aurora.
Yeah.
Because Aurora only gets little bits of lines.
Here and there.
Every so many episodes. And here we're getting Lieutenant Masters as a strong supporting character.
Well, she
drifting. She's drifting in the background constantly. She's interacting with Kirk. Yeah. You're seeing her in her own scenes. You know.
Well, she's not like another one of those...
His beard's gone, basically.
I know. What happened?
Like, there's, like, a little bit of brown mark on his chin, but legit, that beard's not there. That's like the wispiest we've seen it. Wow. What were you saying?
Well, she was
actually here.
Cast, Janet McLaughlin, Lieutenant Masters, was cast as, like, a supporting character for this episode. She's not just, like, another stand-in for Yeoman Rand. And she kind of got shafted because... there was going to be more of a role for her, but then it got cut down in all the rewriting.
That's a shame.
But one really significant thing is that she appears in this episode in natural afro hair. Yeah. And not like a wig, which in the 60s...
was a pretty big deal? Or?
It was a pretty big deal because wearing your hair natural... is almost a political statement at that time.
Have we seen her before this or another?
No, I believe this is the only episode she appears in.
Any other? And so the only, because obviously we see other African-American girls in the background and guys, but is she the only one that was rocking the natural hair?
As far as I can recall.
I guess I really thought I'd seen another girl.
And apparently that was her choice. Because...
and they let her.
Yeah, she decided not to show up in a wig that day. She decided, I'm gonna rock the natural hair.
Yeah.
And see if they have a problem with it, and apparently nobody said anything.
Do you think they're all like, do we say something?
Yeah.
Like, I just imagine like wardrobe being like, is it gonna be offensive if we ask like, about it, or like, do we just do it, or maybe they all thought that she'd gotten approval from someone else, and so no one actually asked each other. Regardless, she's gorgeous and she stands out.
Yeah.
Beautifully for. I mean, you see in this anytime like past the 80s, and you're like, it's normal. It's totally normal.
Right.
I mean, I don't ever think anything twice. I just think, oh man, like I love her short hair, and not like, holy shit, this was like a huge deal. You know, when this first came out, that people might have been like, oh my god, like where's her, like, you know.
Right.
I want to see, you know, Anglo style hair, not natural African American hair.
In a way, it's like it's basically saying like F you to being forced to conform to the white standard of beauty.
And whether they let her do it or it's like an accident where like no one checked or whatever, it conveniently falls in beautifully with the whole point of obviously what Star Trek is and what Starfleet is supposed to be and the Federation and stuff like that. Where I mean, Nichelle Nichols has talked about it in interviews and stuff like that, where it would be like, it doesn't, you know, at this point in 23rd-ish century, society is beyond, like, judging someone by, obviously, their skin, their sex, their hair, their clothing, you know, all of that. Like, you want to rock, like, short shorts, or, you know, short skirts, or pants, man, woman, whatever. You're actually going to, you know, not judge someone by
you're judged more by the content of your character.
So having her, you know, Lieutenant Masters rock whatever hairstyle she wants, and he like, well, that's exactly what is the point of Starfleet, or society and culture at that time. Even though we didn't have it for a while, still don't really have it. We'll get there. We'll get there. But considering what a big deal it was, obviously, for, you know, you've got Whoopi Goldberg talking about what an influence it was for her, seeing Nichelle Nichols in a somewhat prominent, you know, character role. I'm assuming it had also been a big deal to see, another African-American woman be somewhat highlighted in an episode.
Kind of a prominent role.
Like, it's not like literally, well, her is your token black chick. It's like, no, we've got other African Americans all floating around there. We've got another girl who comes in just for lead role, like
as a guest actor.
Yeah. Really, Mr. Obvious? And he's coming on. So is he wearing long pants and then shorts?
Short pants over his long pants.
Is that what he's doing? Is he like, he's got long pants and then he's got these angled culottes over it? Is that legit what I'm seeing?
That's what it looks like.
I mean, I'm kind of in love with it.
No,
I'm kind of in love with it. Like, as a visual, I'm not saying like to have the fact that he's in the same fabric and pattern all the way across the board. There's something visually I love about the way the short part is cut at that angle. Yeah, like it's a really cool visual effect. I think it might have been more interesting if it had been two different colors, so you could have appreciated that.
We've gone an awful long way into this episode before asking him for the truth.
But he's also wearing like what looks like a really close together like leopard or zebra-ish print of black and blue, because there's a lot of squigglies.
I don't think it's a print so much as it's the texture.
Yeah. It's pretty fabulous. Well, it's what you madman you are
because you're acting like a madman.
Yeah. I still can't believe that they were letting him roam around unattended for this entire time.
I know. See, this episode was written by Don Ingalls, who was later went on to be a producer of Fantasy Island, starring Ricardo Montalban, and T.J. Hooker, starring William Shatner. But like Roddenberry, he was a former LAPD officer,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently they were friends as cops.
Cop nerds.
Mm-hmm.
And
But even if he had written in, like, a bunch of massive inconsistencies, you would normally have, like, a story editor or another writer,
Yeah.
like Fontana.
I mean, you're gonna have your guest writers, and they're
Yeah.
not gonna, it's not their job to follow this, you know,
They're not
what's
gonna
going
know
on.
everything.
But yeah, someone should have been, like, going behind and going, all right, so this is gonna have to be...
Yeah, we're gonna have to change
this is gonna have to be at a science station, not in engineering.
Yeah. Oh, here
This
he says
should
there's
be-
430 men on his ship.
This should be, you know, this color shirt, that color shirt.
Right.
And-
Get
and-
that muscle man out of my
And
sick bay.
instead, it's, I mean, this episode's like a wreck at this point so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think the concept of the Lazarus character is bad, you know, but I don't know if it's just more that they could handle visually for the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, the same way like there was things that like George Lucas wanted to do in Star Wars, he had to save
Right.
for the prequels because he
The
was
technology just wasn't there.
well aware that what he wanted to show
Mhm.
was just not possible with the graphic options of
Right.
the time, so he held it.
Within a budget.
And I feel like this was like they just didn't. They're just like, sure, you know, it's
Yeah.
we're just gonna fudge it and in any way we can think of, but like they didn't really have a clear idea of how they wanted to illustrate
You want to
this
hold
concept.
an out of focus shot for like 15 seconds,
Yeah.
you know? Doesn't seem...
Like, it's like, all right, we'll do out of focus when apparently he's switching selves? Is that what's happening here? He's changing body? Like, he's got just two of him and they're switching in and out of the same body? I don't know. But we're always getting this, like, out of focusing.
Yeah.
He'll be facing different ways. Bandage, no bandage.
Mhm.
Nebula galaxy, but then no nebula galaxy.
Yeah.
Spinning newspaper print, no spinning newspaper print. Like,
right. Negative shot of us in a room.
yeah,
with a
but like, they can't
stuntman.
seem to...
Yeah.
Like, they're throwing every effect they can at it
Yeah.
because they just don't know how they want to illustrate it the right way.
Right.
And so then it's just, like, a mess of graphics that are
Mhm.
grossly unnecessary at this point.
Yeah. And then from a writing standpoint, you have, like, a lot of dialogue from Mr. Spock.
Yes.
But, ironically, very little in terms of character for him.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
There's nothing going on with Spock.
He's
here,
like
at all.
delivering a ton of technobabble,
Mhm.
carrying the
Yeah.
the plot along through exposition, but we're not getting a lot of...
Well, and there's also very little action. I mean, there's been obviously very good stories with them just talking, very interesting and serious dialogue.
Yeah.
But this is just talking and talking and talking, more talking. It is jumping down to the planet like 2 or 3 times, and each time the guy like falls off something. But
Right.
but it's all like a reactionary, like, oh, what happened? Let's go pick him up.
To be fair, I've climbed on some of those rocks at Vasquez.
Yes, and almost died.
And they're a little scary.
But I'm saying, like, it's just constantly the two of it's Spock and Kirk
Right.
talking,
Yeah.
standing and talking, sitting
Right.
and talking,
What's
standing,
going
sitting
on?
and talking.
Is stuff winking out? Is there another universe?
And they're
Blah,
just
blah, blah.
talking about the same stuff over and
Right.
over again. Like, the overall conversation is exactly literally the first lines they started with, which
Yeah,
was,
like-
so we winked out of existence, but then we were back,
Mhm.
and we don't really know how to explain it. Insert intense amount of scientific dialogue that is well over the head of most people,
Mhm.
and is not being delivered in an interesting fashion or a digestible fashion at all.
A one-man invasion.
That he's crazy? How about he's crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh! Takes the entire episode to get to that point.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
A revolving door.
I just feel like it shouldn't have. This realization should not be coming at almost the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm guessing is the end of the episode. Like,
That's what you're hoping is the end of the episode?
yeah, because I just there's certain things where, like, okay, for the point of a story, things can't be discovered until later. Otherwise, your episode ends like 10 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some things where it's just, this is just stupid because your characters aren't this stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I find it really hard to believe that it's not until now that Kirk, McCoy, and or Spock are going to realize they're dealing with more than one person.
Yeah. Especially after some of the stuff they've been through.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're really into the close-ups here.
Yeah.
Wow. I just love how they... to explain how serious I guess this is, it's like, let's just keep the camera right here in your face. So, you know, this is the crux of the whole episode.
Right.
So we've got a positive and negative of a person, but if they actually meet together, the entire universe will explode.
Or something bad will happen.
I mean, 'cause that's why they're having these wink out moments, because it's whenever those two are fighting with each other, and then not. And I love that the situation is so serious that the bar of light is going to follow Kirk wherever he goes.
Yeah. Although, technically...
Also, why is no one on this guy? Where is security? Like, they're definitely assured at this point, this guy's a madman.
Yeah.
But, no, he can get out of...
No, he's allowed to tinker with the electronics.
He's allowed to get out of sickbay. He's allowed to not apparently have red shirts on him.
Yeah.
I think it's precious that this dude needs to use, like, a handkerchief to protect himself or not leave fingerprints. Like, what even is that? Like, there was no point to that at all. This guy obviously has, like, abilities and, you know, he doesn't need to be like, oh, I don't want to mess up my hands.
Yeah. So, I think one of the reasons that...
Just when I leave, it starts to smoke.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons that the episode was shot, like, 20th in order, but not shown until very near the end of the season...
Because we had just had... Oh!
Was because... Basically because it wasn't that great an episode.
That was a lot of...
Yeah, that's that
might have been good. Like, I don't even care if it's just... Would it be, like, a fog machine or something like that? That's, like, a lot for those actors to be engulfed in.
I hope they didn't have to wait in there for long.
I know, God.
So, yeah, they basically held it back, I think, because it's not that great an episode. Which is kind of a weird choice, but...
Well, and also, I can get it because it would look weird to have two filmed on the same... Like, it's... They don't go down to Vasquez a lot on this one, but still...
Well, yes.
It's involving being on similar terrain twice in a row.
You're getting really close to me, dude. Yeah.
But it is a little embarrassing when you have... At this point, what is probably the worst episode of the season is right before the best episode of the season and arguably the entire show. I mean, you don't foresee this kind of stuff, but it's a little embarrassing.
Right. I mean, this episode aside, they do close out the season with some really top-notch episodes, you know?
Yes. Because Devil in the Dark was in the latter half and everything. I just fling that off like it's nothing. Is that supposed to be a crystal?
That's what he wants.
Bloop.
Yeah.
Beep boop. I like how he's like conscious again and was totally eating something. Because I got knocked out a second ago.
Yeah. I even tell him to energize. I mean, apparently Lazarus can just do it one man, just hit the sliders and
just make sure he jumps in there in time.
Right. He's so gleeful.
He's so excited. obsessed with this spaceship, though. It's fantastic.
This little flying saucer thing.
Little pod. It's...
Yeah.
What?
Oh.
Well, that's not good. You're holding it for way too long. Oh, look at those beautiful pants. Beautiful white pants.
This is not what he intended.
Not at all. Oh, he's trapped! I mean, it's a little horrifying.
Oh, now he's being attacked by a nebula.
Mm-hmm. With breaking news.
Yeah. Oh, it's all dark.
It's nighttime now.
And there's no little flying saucer thing.
Mm-mm. I'm assuming they just borrowed that from some other set or movie that happened and just must be in storage or...
Yeah, I don't
can't
know.
You know, there's no way with their budget they built that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
I love that they're at Vasquez there, but then here it's on set.
Yeah. Well, sometimes
It's a little weird, like, why you just weren't still filming on Vasquez.
Sometimes you run out of shooting days, you know?
I guess, and you gotta build a similar set.
Yeah.
He's back on Vasquez. Oh, hello! You're like, he looks clean, no injuries.
Mm-hmm, no bandage.
I mean... But he's obviously got the same, like, tears in his clothing, and that's, like, part, like, that shouldn't be... He shouldn't have the same tears in his clothing.
Well, they're fighting and stuff. Stuff gets torn. The end of everything!
His beard's okay here.
Now he seems a little eerily calm about that.
He's super chill. Super chill. He's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm boned still. They totally just, like, have, like, kind of one of the Burke-style chairs bolted in there.
That's a chair we've seen on the shuttlecraft,
Mm-hmm.
I think. But he's all like, oh yeah, no, it's a parallel universe, antimatter, blah blah blah. All the stuff I could have told you a while ago.
Yeah, when I first met you.
But I didn't want to tell you because you think I'm mad.
No, it's like, yeah. All of it's just kind of... Well, that's convenient.
Something about his delivery and his voice just reminds me of...
Dumbledore?
I was about to say Camelot.
Yeah. So we're both thinking Richard Harris.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get it. He's got a little bit of a Richard Harris tone to his voice. Beer's definitely helping it too.
Yeah. It's simply...
It's just weird pauses in weird areas that I wouldn't do. And
in short, there's simply not a more convenient than congenial spot for happily ever aftering.
Mm-hmm.
But he's mad.
Yeah.
Aren't you the same person? Why aren't you freaked out by that?
But we've seen, I mean, we know that.
I've gone insane, but my madness manifests as
It's
being
calm.
super chill.
But, I mean, we've seen, I guess we haven't seen any of the parallel universes yet
Mm-mm.
so far. But
Nope.
it will be this concept of similar but different.
Yeah.
You know, most like 90% similar character traits, but then it's not like 100% match of identical.
And everyone else seems to adapt to it without going mad.
Yeah. You get the same person, but from Universe A and Universe B.
Mm-hmm.
Universe A is fine, Universe B is crazy.
Yeah.
They both found out there was like ways to pass through to the other side.
Yeah.
And Crazy Dude in Universe B is like, well, I want to come over and take over? I want to destroy your world? This is only mine? Yeah, it's kind of awful.
Yep. See, that's a deep one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna
Lure him over.
willingly trap yourself in a room with a crazy person
Mm-hmm.
for eternity for the benefit of the universe.
Ah!
2 universes.
I just feel like that entire exchange, like, I'm just not sure if Shatner wasn't that into this episode or what, or how they decided to all play the scene, because it's a very low energy exchange.
Yeah, I know.
The delivery from Shatner, delivery from not Crazy Lazarus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really boring.
Why are
They not doing Jack? He's
he's like, oh man, check that out.
like,
Oh, look at the captain.
I feel
He's
like-
getting his ass
I
kicked.
feel like maybe that guy is like day one of acting and
Okay.
and is all like, I should look excited. Yeah, look at him go, dudes. And not the, do we need to get in there kind of thing.
They don't have weapons drawn or anything.
No, they got nothing. They are useless. Useless.
What are they there for? Maybe they're actually from engineering. And they're like, I don't
Yeah.
know, I thought I was going to have to replace some screws or something. And what of Lazarus?
That doesn't answer Spock's question. I mean, I'd be like, no, seriously, like, what's going on, dude?
Yeah.
Also, I mean, wouldn't they have seen Kirk like disappear and then magically he shows up, and wouldn't Spock been like, where the fuck were you? And then instead it's like, no, I'm gonna give you some hand signals and let's just jump them.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the action, it goes from like a lot of dialogue to action it just you not ready for.
Yeah.
How fast it all happens.
It's a little uneven.
It was, we're gonna take a really long time to explain. We need to fight each other for all eternity, so if you can get him to basically jump into his ship, then we're good to go.
Yeah.
And then that happens, but you're like, I just don't understand. Like, a second ago, Kirk didn't exist in the universe.
Yeah.
Like, he was gone.
He blinks into existence. Maybe that's why the security guys weren't doing anything. They're like, what is happening?
And so they'll literally be at each other's throats for all eternity?
Yeah. It's sad, but this is like the first instance we're really seeing the whole good of the many
Mm-hmm.
and the good of the one.
Yeah. Yay, lines!
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that Kirk has already explained all this to Spock now, or Spock figured it out for himself. Because Spock wasn't there for that conversation.
I know.
But he's all like, yeah, I totally know what's up now.
Captain. I believe it would suck.
Like, I want to appreciate this is like some very deep philosophical level shit, but it's just like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
It
Like-
just it takes such a path in getting there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's the problem.
Yeah, it's as inconsistent, irregular, and bizarre as Lazarus's beard. It's like that is this entire episode. Like it doesn't.
Lazarus's beard says everything.
It doesn't know what it's doing,
Mhm.
and if it's gonna stay or not. Like
Right.
that's the episode. It's like it had an idea of where to go, and then I was like, uh-oh, and then it held on at the end. It was like, I got it. I'm fine, guys. Figured out
Yeah.
what I'm supposed to look like. And that's what this is. And it's disappointing because it just is. Like, I don't even know what the original overall concept of this episode was to be like, oh, that's a good idea. I don't know if this story was a good idea.
Yeah.
And it just got wrecked in rewriting.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it was just kind of not a good idea overall. And then it got worked to death.
It might have been not that good.
It got worked to death in an attempt to make it a good idea.
Because part of it was also they didn't want it to seem like a rehash of The Enemy Within with the good Kirk and the bad Kirk.
But that is what it is. Like whether I don't know, like they tried so hard to avoid it, they came back right around to just got right back to step one on it because it is Enemy Within is an amazing episode, great concept, and done perfectly in how you're going to have two of the same actor, you know, and you need to know that they're different. Yeah. You need to have the confusion of other characters of which one was I just talking to, you know? Wait, there's more than one, you know, kind of thing. That is all done like textbook perfect in Enemy Within. And this is just
more importantly, The Enemy Within, it uses that device of the good and evil halves to really give us some insight into Kirk's character, you know, into the fact that both of these elements are within him.
One person.
And all this sort
this
of thing.
Is just, there's literally a cardboard cutout good version and a cardboard cutout bad version of the same character because we're going with they each come from a completely different universe. Yeah. And one's crazy and one's not.
They basically have no similarity to each other other than the fact
they look the same.
That the same actor, they look the same, they have the same clothes. But otherwise, it's just like a crazy bad guy and a super chill good guy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's absolutely it. And it just is difficult to get through the episode.
Yeah. Not the strongest episode. Probably the weakest episode of season 1.
It only comes to mind for me is every time I obviously see Star Trek V. It always reminds me of Lazarus. Just because of when Cybok goes to battle. When he jumps into battle and then he is battling himself because the alien thing decided to like take his appearance on, and I'm like, it's Lazarus, like so way better.
Get him!
Yeah, it is just, and I don't know if that like they knew that like when they were doing that, or just a total coincidence that when they decided to do that shot of basically two Cyboks fighting each other and it's all in white, you know, and kind of I think a little bit of a negative effect going on. I was like, okay, did they not realize that they were identically repeating what occurred in an episode of TOS? Because I like that part of it, you know, in there.
It's fun that it's kind of a visual reference.
Oh, one of like the worst episodes ever.
I don't think it's necessarily the worst episode ever.
I said one of the worst.
We'll have to get through to season 3 to see what we think is.
But right now, like if this is all you've seen so far, this is hands down the worst episode.
Yeah, not the best.
It's just not. It's
not my favorite.
Too much dialogue.
Well, too much dialogue that doesn't
do anything. Yeah, doesn't make me feel like, oh my god, I'm like concerned or worried or excited.
Or learning more about the characters.
Yeah. Just there.
Okay.
The only thing that episode has going for it is Lieutenant Masters.
Yeah. Who then you see her and then you wish she had more to do.
Yeah, a lot more to do.
She had in like earlier versions, but whatever. You can't judge those because we haven't seen them.
No.
All right. So that was the alternative factor. Join us again next time because it is the best episode of the entire series.
So we can wash away this episode out of our systems with City on the Edge of Forever.
City on the Edge of Forever. So join us again for that one.
See ya.